And so there were two reasons why we developed this system. The first one was to take the head out of the tackle, similar to rugby. And the only way to take head out of the tackle is through muscle memory and a learned behavior. And so it's called helmetless tackling. And the NFL and the University of New Hampshire spent $500,000 studying helmetless tackling. And the research is out there. And when the University of New Hampshire practiced without helmets, tackling drills, then they put sensors on these players in the games. And they found out that 30% less head contacts during the game from previous years. And the other reason why we developed this system is because fundamentals. How can you possibly learn the fundamentals of tackling without doing it? And so this is a simulation, the most realistic tackling that anybody can do, and to prepare themselves for Friday night. How can you not tackle during practice and then expect these boys to go out there on Friday night? It's insanity.
Missed tackles are next to turnovers and why teams lose games. Our mission here has always been, since we started, protect the players, save the game.
What sport can you not practice, but then you have to go out and perform? Football.
Crazy.
If you're a defensive
ball
player. There's 2 million people putting helmets on every year to play football.
Right.
And 100,000 of them are college and pro ball players. That means there's 1.9 million people, or kids, from 4th grade to 12th grade playing football. And they're the most vulnerable because if they get a concussion at an early age as their brain is developing, there's significant repercussions of it. You know, and the coach's hands are tied.
Yep.
At the youth, junior high, and high school level.
What do you do?
Because every state has restrictions on how much you can actually have contact to the ground. So what they're left with are donuts and pop-ups, and that's not real tackling.
No, because there's no resistance. Those donuts, you can kick them over with a finger. I mean, there's no resistance to it when you're actually tackling a human being. He's not trying to go down. He's going to keep driving his feet. It's not the coach's fault. You guys your hands are tied. And now with the NCAA cutting to 9 contact practices, I can't even imagine how you would prepare for the season. I understand that you don't want to hurt your own running backs and your own players. You don't have to. There's a bag right there. You can hit it 100 times a day and you'll get full speed reps. So you don't have to worry about hurting your own guys and, worried about that depth chart, later in the season. All these guys we had out today, elite Big Ten starting defensive players, their last live tackle they had was in the spring game 3 months ago. They're getting ready to play a 12-game season, and they haven't tackled anybody in 3 months or anything. They haven't practiced those skills.
So the only way that we could possibly train 1.9 million players that have developing brains is to put these systems in school districts where the youth level, the junior high level, and the high school students can practice on it. And that's what we've started to do. We're going to be leasing these 2 school districts. We're going to make it affordable for them. And so it's open to anybody that wants to come and learn the skill of tackling, safe tackling. Ask your son how many times he actually had an intentional tackle during practice. We run clinics. You know what most of the answers are? Zip, zero, zap.
Yep.
They don't. A baseball player wouldn't go into the batting cage and hit balls at 40 miles an hour if then he had to go and hit them at 80 miles an hour. It just doesn't make sense. And that's what we're doing in football. We're pretend tackling in practice, and then here comes Friday night, and it's a disaster. In fact, the American Institute of Pediatrics recently came out with a study that said injuries are down in practice, but they're up in games.
And we see that as a direct correlation of the practice time and the technique that the players are not getting the chance to use. And how do you get good at something if you don't get the opportunity to do it? And it's the most dangerous part of the game. Coaches, athletic directors, and administrators, we are here to help your kids. We want to give you a tool so you can teach them how to safely do one of the most dangerous things they do every Friday night.
Hey, listen, we either protect the kids or the game's not going to be around.
Yeah.
Every year, the number of kids participating in football goes down. I mean, it's just a fact. It will not be around unless we do something to change the way we practice. So we're in the process of installing our system in a Division I football program. And do you know what the coach told me? He said, Marty, this system has several wonderful attributes about it. He said, but I think we can use it as a recruiting tool, because when we walk these moms and dads and their son through the university on a recruiting trip, we want to be able to point to that system to show mom and dad that this is what we're doing about keeping your son safer and enhancing his tackling skills.
And I guarantee if you walk your kid into a university, if you have this system, you're proving you care for your players, because you're proving that you care about their health and wellness, not by getting a surgery after every season, but by preventing that surgery through practice and intentional technique.